how to run a simple network with cloud computing. Recently, for my organization, Windustry, I needed to design a new computer network for our offices. We were in a situation where our landlord had provided a local area network that we piggybacked on. We would log into their system, and then we could do our file sharing on their network servers. We could do printing, we could get on the internet, just some basic stuff. We didn't have all the bells and whistles that they gave their staff. We were just kind of piggybacked on top of it. Well, what happened was we had been grandfathered in over time, and it reached a point where it really wasn't working out for them to have to manage us. And they said, well, gee, can't you just do your own network? We're happy to help you in some ways, but we'd really like you to have your own computer network. So in my background, I've worked as an IT manager and configured networks and done some system administration support. I've had to outsource network services for some mid-sized nonprofits. So I knew that what I was up against. And what I knew was that I probably didn't want a traditional local area network. And the reason is we really had some pretty simple needs. All we did every day in our offices is we turn on our computers, we log onto the internet, we open some files, we might save them in a shared directory so others can get to them, and we print, and that's pretty much all we do because we do most of our work on the internet these days. And so I decided, I just need something really simple. I really don't need all the bells and whistles that people usually have on a local area network. I mean, there can be databases and security and workflow collaboration, application management, all kinds of patching and updates. And then you need to have a dedicated system administrator, or you outsource to a team of engineers who can remotely manage your network for you. And it can be quite complex, and you have to invest some energy and some money to keep that network up. I decided we weren't going to do that. I thought we could do something simpler, because really, what do? We go on the internet, we share files, and we print. So I spec'd out a system called a P2P network, which is a peer-to-peer network. It's a common configuration for SOHO networks. SOHO is small office, home office. If you got a home office with just a few computers, you got a small office, you're in one building, you might have a dozen or two staff people. You can actually get away with a peer-to-peer system. So we didn't have a central network server in this design. Instead, we just had a NAS appliance. And a NAS appliance is a box for networked attached storage. It's kind of like a high-end enterprise level external hard drive. Just like you can have an external hard drive plug into your computer for additional storage, you can have a fancy NAS appliance plug into a network to give you additional storage. In my case, I'm just getting the additional storage, and I have no network server. Now, this seems crazy. How can you do this? Well, we rely on cloud computing. That's the secret, because you still need email servers and databases and web servers, all this fancy stuff. But let's face it, more and more this kind of functionality is available on the internet. And for nonprofits, it can be very cheap, very free, sometimes free, and it's really reliable. This is called software as a service, or SaaS. This is a big thing, cloud computing, software as a service. More and more people are running these systems off the web. And what we use is Google Apps for our email, for collaborating on documents. We even chat with each other, and Google keeps just piling on more and more services that you can use with Google Apps. And with other Google services that are available. We also have a content management system that drives our web and some other services. We have a contact database system that we have for free from Salesforce.com. And I'm finding new services every day, and more of these services can integrate together really nicely, and I don't have to do the work. All of these features are managed, patched, and updated overnight, just kind of magically. You log into your computer in the morning, and all those new services and features are just running for you, and somebody else is supporting them. You aren't. So the beauty of this is that it's very simple, easy to manage, and we don't need to have a system administrator, and I don't have to spend a lot of my time just patching the network, dealing with it when it goes down every day because there's something that's breaking and the patch isn't coming from Microsoft or from wherever it has to come from. And the hardest thing in doing this was finding engineers that were willing to support it, because I did want to have some support from engineers who could set this up properly. You do have to have switches and a firewall. You have to have a backup power supply. You have to think of how you're going to back up your storage files. There still is some serious work to do, and the hardest thing was most network engineers wanted to sell a big package to us. They said, oh, you have to have this big system. You can't have a simple network like that, David. It just won't work. Well, guess what? It works for us. We have really fast internet connections. We don't get bogged down with network errors like we used to, and we find new services on the cloud that help us get our work done every day. So that's how to have a simpler network that you can run with cloud computing.